Hi all, and welcome to my channel, Fred Makes Things. So today we're doing our Sophie and Toffee year in review video. You're going to be seeing photos of some of the resin projects and stuff that I've done over the year. But I'm not going to have like a dedicated sit down, look at all these things and what I thought about them review. Just because I want to talk more about Sophie and Toffee in general, rather than my like journey with resin. I'm thinking of doing that probably in the summer, just because I've learned that my house might be too humid in the summer to get good resin casting. So it might be a good time to do my like year and a half journey of resin kind of video. But for this video specifically, we're going to talk about Sophie and Toffee, and their Pixie box and what I've thought about it. So this video is going to be in a few parts. Part one is going to be what is Sophie and Toffee, or who are Sophie and Toffee, their subscription box, specifically the Pixie box. Part two is what I think specifically of the subscription boxes, maybe a favorite project or two, maybe not. Actually, definitely a favorite project or two. Part three is kind of like some general thoughts about Sophie and Toffee, and there's a really good chance I'm going to have a rant in there. And then part four is going to be my final thoughts and sign off as usual. So let's just jump right into talking about this. Part one. What is Sophie and Toffee? Sophie and Toffee is a resin company based in Singapore. They first came to my attention through the YouTube channel Nerdy Crafter, and her unboxing of their elves box and her general usage of resin. And then I kind of saw some other YouTubers' general uses of resin. Some Instagram resin videos started being pushed to me. And I was like, maybe I should try this out. So late in 2021, I think, they launched their Pixie box, or mid-2021, sometime in 2021, I learned about their Pixie box. And what the Pixie box is, as opposed to the Elves box, is a bunch of items to help with resin, but there is no resin involved. So we'll talk a little bit more of that in a second. But that's what Sophie and Toffee primarily is that they're a resin company that does subscription boxes that seem to be quite interesting. They also have like a store where you can buy like resin, things to work with resin, molds, inclusions, embellishments, like everything that you would need really to make different resin projects. I've used their resin a couple of times. I really, really enjoy it, but because the shipping is astronomical from Singapore, I tend to order my resin through a different company that's located here in the States, so I can save on shipping, because even though I enjoy Sophie and Toffee, I cannot justify their shipping rates all of the time. So Sophie and Toffee has a couple of different subscription boxes. They have the Elves box, which I think is their original. They have the Pixie box, which is what I get. Then they have like Disney collaborations and Harry Potter collaborations and other kinds of collaborations. And they make those available as boxes as well. Their Elves and their Pixie boxes are a monthly thing, and I think some of their bigger collaborations are a quarterly thing. More of that information is on the screen for you, because I'm not quite certain exactly how all of the subscriptions work, because I only get the Elves box or the Pixie box. The main difference between the Elves box and the Pixie box, because they both have like resin and resin related projects, is that the Elves box is a dedicated project with like a step-by-step instructions on how to make them. Facebook is really popular with this advent calendar with this calendar that they had you make last year, which looks really cool. One of the reasons I was interested in it. They have other project boxes as well that I cannot think of. And most recently, it was like a little mini Polaroid box, like a little Polaroid camera mold that you could do that could like, it was really cool. It had some working parts to it and stuff. And then in June, I want to say, they did a carousel box where you could make like a little mini carousel. And I bought that elves box because I love carousels. And so I thought this was really cool and I wanted it. So I got that. That's the only elves box that I bought. The Pixie box I have been getting since February 2022. So I've had 10 boxes or 11 boxes of Pixie boxes. Each box is modeled on a different theme, and you get a bunch of silicone molds, inclusions, glitters, dyes, things like that. But it's very rare that you get like a dedicated project. The only box that I can think of that had like a dedicated "this is your project" box was I want to say it was August's box, and it was a Ferris wheel that I absolutely love. Some of the themes that have come in the Pixie boxes this year have been like, there was a cat box, there was like an outdoor themed nature-y kind of box, there was the carousel box, there was like a Halloween-y spooky box. Recently it was like a Valentine's kind of box. There was a winter box that had like snowmen and stuff like that in them. A sweet treats box where everything was kind of candy themed. So like they have really cool themes, but you don't really have anything specific that you're forced to like make with it. It kind of lets your imagination run with it. The Pixie box is also a bit cheaper, which is one of the main reasons I bought it, is because I figured I could get resin anywhere. But I really wanted to see what kind of molds they have. One of the comments a while ago also said, on one of my videos, also said that like the elves box are like exclusive molds to Sophie and Toffee, whereas the Pixie box can have molds from like not exclusive and that you can see elsewhere. And I've seen that. I've seen that some of these molds have been like made available other places, especially like their jar molds and things like that. I've seen kind of around. So yeah, to me, the Pixie box gives you a little bit more space for creativity because you're not making like a specific project. And because I'm so brand new to resin, I thought that having like the options would make it a little bit more interesting and a little bit more fun for me. So that's what I've chosen to do. I think that's a pretty good introduction to who Sophie and Toffee are and what they do. Might have been a little long, but there you go. So we'll do part 2. Some of the themes, some of the projects and stuff like that, specifically in the Pixie box. I'm doing all of this by memory. I didn't bother to pull out the cards or anything like that. Just because I'm tired. I didn't feel like finding everything. So let's see how well I can go from memory. So my very first box was a cat themed box, and in it you had like a cat tray and a shaker mold, a cat clock that I haven't made, and a bunch of other like little cat themed items. That was really cute, and I was really excited that that was my first box. It was actually the reason I got like a 6-month subscription, is because I wanted that box. The next box after that, I think, was like a home style box that had, I don't know, like a TV shaker mold, some guitar picks. I don't even really remember after that. I didn't really enjoy the box. I didn't really see the point to it. After that, there was like a nature themed box where you got like some really cool inclusions. I want to say you got a jar mold as well, but that might have been from the box before. They really beautiful fir or monstera leaf mold that I use a lot. That was really cool. Yeah, April was like, I want to say it was a Japan styling box. You had a coaster mold in there. a wind chime with like a sakura cherry blossom on it. Some other fun molds like that as well. After that, it was your Jurassic box where you had like a dinosaur and an egg, which was really a dragon. You had some large dinosaur molds. Lots of like a kind of dinosaur theming. That was like my worst resin experience I've ever had, and I'm pretty sure it was all because of humidity. After the Jurassic box, and there was the Sweet Treats box. This box I unmolded or unboxed in Canada. I had my husband take pictures of everything in it, and then I talked about it. The Sweet Treats box was kind of cool. You had some shaker molds in it. You had some little tiny like candies and stuff. You had some boba tea molds, like lots of like little mini food molds, and that was really cool. Then you had the Carnival box, which was my favorite box. In it you had, like they said, the Ferris wheel, and some other smaller molds, but mainly it was the Ferris wheel, and I love that Ferris wheel. That was like a dedicated project. Oh, in the Jurassic box, there was also a different style of wind chime in there as well, that I tried to make a couple of times, and I haven't been super successful yet, but I'm working on it. Then now we're into September. My memory is going to be a lot better. September was the spooky box, the Halloween box. In it, you had a couple of you had like a witch mold and a ghost mold, and some earring molds, a shaker, a flying coffin shaker mold, and just really cool. Like I really liked the October box, or the September box. October was a beauty box where you have a little perfume bottle, some rings, some pendants, spinners. It was kind of neat. Then we're on to November, which was my very favorite box. It was like the Winter Wonderland box. In it you had a snowman, some gnomes, some stars that I made a garland out of, some like little ornament molds that they gave you like little LED lights for. And it was like a really cool box too. Like I said, it's my favorite box, or it's that or the Carnival box. But I think the Winter Wonderland is my favorite, and then the Carnival is second, because I really liked the Ferris wheel, but the other stuff was whatever. And now we're on to December, in my last box, which was a ode to Valentine's Day, and this was kind of really cool too. But I haven't made anything from it just because I haven't had time. So that's what the Pixie Box was for this last year. Every month, right, you saw what came in it, or you saw the photo. I don't know. You saw something that came with it. Every month you get a card that shows you everything that you get in the box. Every month is 20 items. Sometimes those items are combined, like the Ferris wheel, right? It wasn't just like, ooh, Ferris wheel one item. It was like, because there was 4 molds or something for it, they called it 4 items, things like that. You also sometimes get like you always get molds, you often get glitter, you get different pigment dyes or alcohol inks, you get mica powders, you get sometimes like little decals and stickers. Sometimes you get things like dried flowers or not dried butterflies, but like butterfly decals, stickers, things like that you can include into the projects. They're always themed, right? So you always have an idea. The Sweet Treats had some weird like lollipop things they called cabochons, that I'm assuming you would glue onto something when you were working on it. You always get bezels, like open bezels in every single theme, which I haven't made anything with yet. You get jump rings and hooks and things like that, so you can turn things into earrings and different jewelry pieces and keychains. One month I had keychain holders. What else do you get? Like with the carousel box, you also had, or the carnival box, you also had like the ball bearings and things like that to make a working Ferris wheel. In the Jurassic box, you got things that make a proper wind chime, things like that. Stickers. Oh, you also get little polymer clay inclusions in different shapes. Like in the Sweet Treats box, you had like little treats things in there, like popsicles and things, like little mini polymer clay popsicles and things like that. In the Winter Wonderland box from November, you got a whole bunch of different colors of snowflakes. In October, you got spooky items like skeletons and eyes and things. So there's like a wide range of things that you can get in these boxes. And it's really cool because it kind of lets your mind or your imagination kind of run around and see what you specifically want to make, right? The things you can do. Sometimes there's beads and things to glue on at the end. And it's just really a lot of fun. I really like the Pixie box. I'm not always a big fan of the themes, but I do like the things that come in them. And every month I can harken back to other projects, other months, and grab things from them. There are no instructions. There are no... there is no like guidance really on what you can do. It's really up to your own imagination. So that can be a plus or a minus, right? Depending on whether or not you are familiar with resin and creative. Like I had a lot of hits and misses. I still do. But I would just watch resin videos, right, and learn and figure out what to do with them. I don't expect Sophie and Toffee to teach me how to resin. That's not what they do. So yeah, that's the Pixie box specifically, some of the items that have come out of it, the themes of all of the months. And yeah, so now let's talk about like what I think about the Pixie box and the little rant I was talking about. So part 3. So I really like the Pixie box. I'm going to continue to get the Pixie box, even though I find it to be pretty expensive. Like by far, this is the most expensive subscription box that I get. I've been thinking about like getting the Elves box instead, but that's even more expensive. And the projects in the Elves box for the last year have been really kind of hit and miss for me. Like the only one that I was really excited to even think about buying this year was the Carousel box, so I bought it. All the other ones I'm not such a fan of. They've also changed their pricing a bit, or their subscription, so you can now buy monthly boxes, but the monthly box price is really high. Like you can just buy like one-time boxes, and you can also get like a monthly, like month-to-month subscription, so you can like get a box at a bit of a cheaper price, but then you're like committing to at least like I think 3 months of months, and I'm not sure if you can skip any projects you don't want. I have to look further into that. So I get a 6-month subscription, so I don't have to worry about it, but it's a big bill. It's like $400. It's not $400. It's like, I don't know. It brings it down to like $35 or $38 a month or something. So it's still quite pricey, or more. Again, the price is on the screen for you. So yeah, the theming isn't always to my taste, but again, that's okay because I'm so new. It's just nice getting stuff and kind of figuring out how to do the projects and things like that. And now for my little mini rant, and that's going to be all about shipping. The shipping cost is astronomical. I want to say it's almost like an extra $100 onto my subscription when I get it. Again, the price is on the screen for you. But for me, shipping is just so high. They do offer free shipping for orders of $150 or more, but like it's a lot to get to build up like $150 in items. And those exclude the subscription boxes. It's just for like their general items that they have in the store. So like there's some things I want to get, like there's some molds and stuff I want to pick up, but the shipping always kind of keeps me back from ordering things, and that's kind of sad. The other thing is also kind of about shipping, and that revolves around how busy Sophie and Toffee is. Or this is my belief anyway. I believe that Sophie and Toffee are doing a bit too many things. And I don't know if it's supply chain or what, but they're getting things out really late. Kind of as to show you, in June, I had a family emergency and I went back to Canada for a couple of weeks. But I didn't go back to Canada until like the middle of the month. And even then, like, the shipping hadn't arrived, right? Like, I had to wait for my husband for it to arrive, and I made my husband take photos of it and send it to me to do an unboxing because it didn't arrive in time before I left. And I think they had like at least a full 2 weeks or so before I left to get it. So to get a subscription box like regularly but not have like regular shipping expectations is a bit annoying. This month is another example of that. Like, it's a Valentine's Day themed box, so you don't have to get it done in December. But I only got the Sophie and Toffee box, I want to say, the date's posted for you, but pretty late for me in the month to start working on the project, right? And it happens fairly often that you have no idea when the box is going to arrive. I want to say that my Carnival box arrived before the end of the month, right? Like, I think Carnival was for August, and I think that it arrived end of July. Or maybe it was the spooky box that was supposed to arrive right for September and it arrived at the end of August. Something like that. Like, shipping times and when you get them are all over the place. You have like a 3-week window almost of when you can expect the box to come. And as opposed to Sewers Club, which I just recently talked about, no matter what, they try to get their boxes out November 20 or on the 28th of the previous month. So you're getting them in the first few days of the next month. And I think that because Sophie and Toffee has their Pixie box, they have their Elves box, and then they have all of their like licensed boxes as well, that sometimes they just don't have the ability to get them out in a very timely manner. Like, I want to say that the advent calendar that they were advertising for December's Elves box was only shipped out a couple of weeks ago. Like, either they were advertising the Elves box, the advent calendar, in October for November, or they were advertising it in November for December. I don't quite remember. I was going to get it, but then I held off. And I remember discussing it in like my November box, how I wanted to get the advent calendar, but that like I didn't. And like, again, I don't quite remember exactly. The dates and stuff will be up on the screen for you. But I remember doing like my Sophie and Toffee unboxing and being like, yeah, I've just seen that they're shipping out like December's boxes now. And when it's an advent calendar, you would think that they'd want to have you get them like at least like by the beginning of December or like within that first week of December, because it's something that's designed to be opened every single day. And to get something like that a bit late, I would think would be a bit frustrating. So the one downside that I would say with Sophie, well, two downsides I would say with Sophie and Toffee is the price is quite high. The shipping is quite high. I think the shipping is what drives the price up too for me. And that they are not consistent in when they get their items out. Like, especially some of their like limited edition special boxes. Like, I think they've been advertising like I want to say it was like a Disney box or a Harry Potter box or something. They advertised it for like 3 months before they finally managed to get them shipped out. And for me, who's impatient, it's not my thing. So if you are thinking of getting Sophie and Toffee, just keep in mind that shipping times and getting things out is not consistent. And for me, I find that extremely frustrating. So let's talk final thoughts and sign off. I think Sophie and Toffee is a great company, and I think the Pixie box is a really great box for beginners, especially if you are on the creative side and you can kind of come up with your own things. I think it's really great. Some of the things that you might want to think about if you're brand new to resin is that you're going to need to get some other supplies like inks or dyes or mica powders or something to help you kind of like have a bit bigger of a choice when making things. You can get them from Sophie and Toffee too if you like. The other thing too is that Sophie and Toffee offers a starter box for resin. They call it like their starter elves box. Highly recommend getting that first so that everything that you so that it gives you a good basis and some items to start crafting right away. That was the other thing. Like I got my first Pixie box before I got my starter box, and I ordered them at the same time, or roughly at the same time. And so like I had to wait to get started for the other box to come in first, but that's neither here nor there. Oh, and then the last thing too is that pay attention to billing too. Like I ordered my first box at the end of December, but the billing didn't start, I didn't get the January box. My first box was February. And then I thought I had an extra month in the summer, right, because I was buying 6 months. I thought I had an extra month to cancel my subscription, but they auto-charged me quickly because basically what they said is because my first order was made on December 30th or something of 2021, then they charged me in like June of the next month, even though I was like a month behind in getting boxes, if that makes sense. So because I thought that my first box was shipped in February, that I would be having it would be February, March, April, May, June, and then I'd have to like renew at the end of July, right? Because that's when like the last of my 6 months came, but they renewed at the end of June. So that was like a month earlier. So it doesn't depend on like when you start getting your box, when your payments come out. It's when you first bought your box, if that makes any sense to you. So I will be curious to know that when I cancel this subscription, if it cancels that month or if I have like another month on the contract or on the payment before it goes away. Because right now I feel like I'm always owed a month, if that makes any sense. So yeah, back to my original thoughts on Sophie and Toffee. I like it. I'm going to continue getting them. I think I'm going to stick with the Pixie box for now, and just keep an eye on the Elves boxes, because like in 12 months of Elves boxes, I've only was really interested in 2 last year. I really like their Disney boxes. They had like a Beauty and the Beast box I was so close to buying, but I didn't because of some emergency financial things over the summer. You'll hear more about that in my year in review if you want. But yeah, so I like the Pixie box. I would really say Pixie box isn't 100% for beginners. I'd say it's more for people who are a bit more familiar with resin. But it's a really great place to start. Really great to just start collecting molds and getting an idea of what you like and what you don't like. So yeah, I think I'm going to go. This video is probably too long, but a bit rambling, but I would assume that's what you've learned to expect from me. If you've made it to the very end of this video, thank you so much. Maybe think about subscribing. I do one Sophie and Toffee unboxing a month. And I'm going to really try to do one resin review video a month too, to discuss what came in that month's box, or maybe some previous month's boxes as well. Kind of just where I'm at in my resin journey. The rest of the month is usually sewing content, some miscellaneous reviews and crafting content, and every single Friday is a long-term video project. And so yeah, like the video too if you enjoyed this rambling kind of breakdown of Sophie and Toffee. And with all that being said, I'm going to say thank you so much for watching, and I will talk with you again soon. Bye!